This video is brought to you by Audible. Audible allows you to listen to audiobooks everywhere on any device, whether it be your smartphone or your tablet, and it picks up right where you left off. Not only do you have thousands of audiobook titles to choose from, but also podcasts. Right now, I'm listening to Saturday Morning Rewind, which features interviews from famous voice actors. I just finished listening to the episode with some of the cast from the original Muppet Babies. Sign up for a 30-day free trial, and your first audiobook is covered. Go to audible.com/cartoonguy. Again, that's audible.com/cartoonguy. Now, on with the video. The early 1990s was a very interesting time for Hanna Barbera. Turner's acquisition of the HB library in 1991 meant many changes, as most projects featuring the studio's classic characters were slowly being phased out to focus on original programming on a then new cable channel, Cartoon Network. Now, we're going to go into more detail about this in part 4, so stay tuned for that. However, there were several primetime specials featuring the classic characters, such as Flintstones' I Yabba Dabba Doo, Yogi the Easter Bear, Johnny's Golden Quest, and the subject of today's video, the 1994 TBS special, Arabian Nights.
A handsome prince, a beautiful princess, and a love pulled apart by an evil wizard. It's the kind of story that could only be told by Scooby and Shaggy. With new jobs as royal food tasters, they have to keep a prince entertained if they ever want to eat again. With Yogi Bear, Boo Boo, Magilla Gorilla, and of course, Scooby and Shaggy. Cartoon Network's Cartoon Theater presents Scooby-Doo's Arabian Nights, Saturday at 8 on Cartoon Network.
Arabian Nights was directed by June Falkenstein and Joanna Ramirza, and written by Gordon Kent. The plot revolves around Scooby-Doo and Shaggy getting jobs as royal food tasters for a young prince. But of course, being Shaggy and Scooby, they screw up by eating everything in sight. After a short chase by the prince's bodyguards, they end up in a harem where Shaggy, disguised as one of the girls, and distracts the prince by telling him two stories. One, a gender swap version of Aladdin, which takes up most of the special, and the other, a Sinbad the Sailor story, featuring Magilla Gorilla as Sinbad. I've seen this movie a few times as a kid, and every time I did, I quickly forgot about it. Mostly because the stories in this film aren't interesting. I have a feeling someone was really passionate about the female Aladdin segment. I just don't think it translated well on screen. But I remember the main characters being a bit boring, and the story does go on a bit too long. On top of that, I love Yogi and Boo Boo, but come on, they're no Robert Williams. It's interesting that subsequent VHS and DVD releases would title the film Scooby-Doo and Arabian Nights, when in actuality, him and Shaggy don't have much to do in this movie, and they're in the film for about 15 minutes. And is it me, or did their subplot totally rip this off? In fact, the whole movie seems to be a mishmash of what was popular at the time. The Disney Renaissance movies, namely Aladdin, and the 90s Steven Spielberg Warner Brothers cartoons, right down to the music. And honestly, it really doesn't work. With the HB characters, they just seem out of place. The animation too is a bit odd. I think Wang Film Productions animated this movie, and the backgrounds and designs of the characters just seem flat and cheap looking. I know Hanna Barbera is known for their cheap animation, but this is really pushing it. Which makes it even all the more awkward when they try to imitate the 90s Warner Brothers cartoons. There's a lot of weird lines and references, like when the Cyclops randomly mentions going to see cats twice, or how about when the chef spouts out exposition to himself. And also this scene.
You say, this isn't bad.
Well, what do you mean this isn't bad? Didn't you make that? There's also a lot of talent here, not only from artists such as Butch Hartman, Mike Moon, Floyd Norman, and Julian Chaney, but also voice actors, including HB regulars like Alan Melvin, Greg Burson, Frank Welker, Casey Kasem, and Don Messick, and believe it or not, the last time you'll hear him doing Scooby-Doo and Boo Boo's voice. But also Rob Paulson, John Cassier, Nick Jameson, Maurice LaMarche, Eddie Deason, Charlie Adler, Tony Jay, and even Jennifer Hale in one of her first voiceover roles. It's a shame it's all wasted on this otherwise very dull movie. And for a long time to be one of the last productions to feature classic Hanna-Barbera characters, though we will see tons of Scooby-Doo later on, it's definitely a low note to go out on. Not the worst thing in the world, but personally, I'd skip it. Until next time, I'm 47 Cartoon Guy, and I gotta fly.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo!
If you want to support this series and many other videos, click the link below to my Patreon. You get a special credit, early access, shout out to your channel or blog, even a commission by me. Every dollar goes into the production of these videos for software, research, DVDs, as well as help put food on the table. If you're not able to donate, you can also help by liking, commenting, subscribing, and clicking the little bell icon. I thank you, and I gotta fly.